Hello everyone, pleasant morning. We are going to get into the topic, the poem Incident of the French Camp by Robert Browning. So before we get into the poem, let's see about the author. So Robert Browning was born on 7th May 1812 and he died on 12th December 1889. He was born in London, England. So as you all know, he was a famous English poet and a playwright too. His mastery of dramatic monologue made him a successive person during the Victorian poet era. So to tell more about him, he was mainly educated at home, but he did a short-term course in London University on Greek. So his poems are known for their irony, humor, social commentary, historical setting, and also challenging vocabularies. His poems are unique form of conversational and unrhythmic verse. So apart from everything, his two collections of work, The Ring and the Book and the Dramatic Personae, made him the leading English poet. So in 1881, in recognition of his outstanding contribution to literature, a literary society called Browning Society was established during the year 1881. So most of you would have studied about this poem in your schoolings. Now, before getting into the poem in detail, let me give you a brief note on about the poem. So this poem was about Napoleon Bonaparte, who lived during the year 1769 to 1821. So he was an officer in the French army, became the army chief and later as a legendary warrior who was later known for his military skills and geniusness. So this poem, the Incident of the French Camp, narrates the actual incident in the war during the year 1809. So this was happened between France and Austria. The war was led by Napoleon. So in this poem, Browning beautifully paints the picture of an incident of the French camp which was happened in the year 1809, as I said you earlier. So the poem describes the heroic action of a young wounded soldier who breaks through the town amidst shower of bullets and reaches his Emperor Napoleon with great joy, and he sounded very happy to give him the good news of the French triumph and how he falls down and dies by the side of Napoleon. So this is all a brief note about the poem. So before we get in detail, let me also tell you, let me introduce that there are 5 stanzas in the poem. So let us see the first stanza. The first stanza is, we French stormed Ratisbon a mile or so away. On a little mount, Napoleon stood on our storming day with neck outthrust, you fancy how, legs wide, arms locked behind, as if to balance the prawn brow, oppressive with its mind. So this is stanza 1. So means Napoleon is talking to the readers. We French stormed Ratisbon. Here stormed means a sudden attack on Ratisbon. So Ratisbon is a city in Austria which is a mile or so away from France. So Napoleon is talking about the war that he is going to attack towards Ratisbon. So on a little mount, Napoleon stood on our storming day. Here little mount means a hill. So Napoleon was standing on a hill region. Stood on our storming day is a day on the attack towards Ratisbon. With neck outthrust, you fancy how. Outthrust is nothing but he's eagerly waiting what will happen to the war. Will they capture Ratisbon? Will they win the war? Will they get the place Ratisbon within the France territory? So Napoleon was standing on a mount with eagerness. Just imagine the lines, legs wide and arms locked behind as if to balance the prawn brow. Just imagine a person is standing on a mount with wide legs and arms locked behind, with his prawn is nothing but the brows down. He's looking downwards with oppressive with its mind. Oppressive is nothing but a harsh thoughts. So he was standing with the harsh thoughts. This is all about stanza 1. So next we get into stanza 2. Just as perhaps he mused, my plans that soar to earth may fall, let once my army leader Lannes waver at yonder wall, out which the battery smokes there flew, a rider bound on bound, full galloping, nor bridle drew until he reached the mound. So here he is just thinking of the war, the plans. He planned will the plan will be get executed in the war. So just as perhaps he mused. Mused is nothing but to think deeply. So my plans, he is thinking deeply about the plans he made for the war, that so to earth may fall. Will they make the Ratisbon to fall under their feet? Let once my army leader Lannes. Lannes is the chief army person in Napoleon's army. So waver at yonder wall, he is just imagining that after winning the war, Lannes will waver the hand from Ratisbon that we won the war with happiness. So out which the battery smokes there flew. So the whole area was filled with the smoke. Just imagine the war is taking place in Ratisbon, and from France he is thinking of the war, and he is seeing the place, and he can see the whole area is filled up with smoke. So a rider bound on bound, full galloping, nor bridle drew until he reached the mound. So here a rider bound on bound, a person is coming on a horse with whole happy hearted, with full of speed, and he is coming very fast. So full galloping is nothing but a sound of a horse with faster speed. He is coming. So here bridle says that headgear to control horse. So he is trying to control the horse because he is coming with that much speed until he reached the mound where Napoleon is standing. So this is about the second stanza. The third stanza. Then off there flung in smiling joy, and held himself erect, but just his horse mane, a boy you hardly could suspect, so tight he kept his lips compressed, scare any blood came through. You looked twice, you saw his breast was all but shot in two. So I think you could imagine the lines when you get into the lines. So then off there flung in smiling joy. As I told you earlier in the second stanza, a rider bound on bound, full galloping, nor bridle drew until he reached the mound. He didn't stop the horse until he reached the mound where Napoleon standing. So he is full of joy, and his face is filled with smiling joy. And imagine a soldier coming on a horse with just sitting erect, and held himself erect by just his horse mane, a boy. Here horse's mane is nothing but a hair that grows from the top of the neck of a horse. So between this horse mane, a boy is coming up. You hardly could suspect. While reading this line, we can even imagine, and we can even suspect what would happen in the war, whether they captured Ratisbon or not. So tight he kept his lips compressed, scare any blood came through. So he was compressing his lips, that if he open up his mouth, maybe blood may come, and his Emperor Napoleon may felt sad for the injuries caused. So you looked twice ere you saw his breast was all but shot in two. So Napoleon was standing before the soldier, but he couldn't find what happened to the soldier, because his mind was filled with only the thought whether they will win or lose. So he looked twice the soldier's breast, then only he realized that he was shot by the gun shot for twice. So this is all about stanza 3. Next, let's go into the stanza 4. Well cried he, Emperor, by God's grace, we have got you Ratisbon. The marshals in the marketplace, and you will be there anon. To see your flag bat flap his wings, where I, to heart's desire, perched him, the chief's eye flashed, his plans soared up again like fire. So, this stanza tells us about the soldier's expression of war towards Napoleon, the emperor. Here, emperor means the person Napoleon. Well, cried he, Emperor, by God's grace, we have got to Ratisbon. Just imagine how he would have felt when the soldier says, we have got to Ratisbon. So with wholehearted and happiness, the soldier made a statement, by God's grace, we have got you Ratisbon. So they win the war. So the marshals in the marketplace, here marshals are nothing but the warriors in Napoleon's soldiers committee. So marshals in the marketplace, and you will be there anon. There anon means to visit the place very soon or shortly. So the warriors are waiting for you in the marketplace, and please go there as soon as possible, dear Lord. He made a statement. To see your flag bat flap his wings. Just imagine, they have won the war and they are going to have their flag in Ratisbon, and they can see their flag bat flap his wings. So it's like, imagine a bird has two wings. When it flies, it flaps its wings. In the same way, they give an connection to the flag connected to a bird's wing. So like bird's wing flaps, the flag flaps all over the Ratisbon city. So where I, to heart's desire, perched him, the chief's eye flashed, his plans soared up again like a fire. So when Napoleon heard all those words from his soldier, he felt very happy, and we can see the fire on his eye, the happiness on his eyes, that his plan was succeeded. They captured Ratisbon. So this is all about stanza 4. Next, stanza 5. The chief's eye flashed, but presently softened itself as seeds film the mother's eagle's eye when her brushy eaglet breathes. You are wounded, nay, his soldier's pride touched to the quick. He said, I am killed, sir, and his chief beside, smiling the boy, fell dead. So the chief we can see the happiness in his eye, and at the same time there was a quick sadness came into his eyes, thinking of the soldier. Like the mother eaglet is a small eagle, a little eagle. So when mother eagle sees a little one getting die or sick, in the same way Napoleon was getting tired and feeling sorry for his soldier, and he says, you are wounded man, but with a wholehearted and happiness he made a statement, no sir, and his chief, no sir, I am killed, sir, and his chief beside, smiling the boy, fell dead. So with all a smiling face, he fell down beside Napoleon. So this is all about the poem. So when we talk about the theme of the poem, it shows us how dying for the country only brings smile to the soldier boy's face and makes aware of the intense joy that can be found in serving the nation. Heroism and bravery are the main theme of the poem. This is how each and every army man saves for our nation to protect and save us. So this is all about the poem, The Incident of the French Camp by Robert Browning. Thank you everyone for your patient listening. Thank you.